Welcome to the Portable Classroom Max program. In this video, we are going to compare the past perfect continuous tense with the present perfect continuous tense. So first, let's take a look at these two examples. One over here, Peter works for Apple. He goes there every day. So it's everyday things and he goes there every day. This is present simple tense. So we say that he has been working there for 7 years. Now, Peter works for Apple and he goes there every day. So he has been working there for 7 years. So during this 7 years time, he has been working for Apple for 7 years. So 7 years in between. Example number 2. Ben no longer works for Apple. So he no longer works for Apple. Ben now no longer works for Apple. He was fired last week. It's a shame. So this is Ben and he was fired last week. So this is a past event, something that happened in the past. But before he got fired, he had been working there for 5 years. So before he got fired, he had been working there for 5 years, but he is no longer an employee in Apple. So in the first example over here, this is the present perfect continuous tense. We can see that the person, Peter, still works for Apple now, and he has been working there for 7 years. In the second example, Ben is no longer an employee in Apple. He was fired last week, but before that, he had been working for Apple for 5 years. So this is past perfect continuous. This is present perfect continuous. As you can see that when we use the present perfect continuous tense, it is still true. Peter still works for Apple. But in this case, no longer. Ben is no longer employee in Apple. He had been working there for 5 years until he got fired last week. But now, no. Okay, so this is how we use the past perfect continuous and the present perfect continuous. Let's look at more examples. Example number 1. Sam practices playing the piano every day. He started to learn how to play the piano when he was 11. So when he was 11, he started to learn how to play the piano. He is now 21. And how many years in between? We know that there is 10 years in between. Okay? So what tense do we use? It's still true. He still practices playing the piano every day, and he has been practicing the piano for 10 years. So in this case, this is present perfect continuous tense. He has been practicing the piano for 10 years. So this is present perfect continuous tense. And he has been practicing the piano for 10 years. Example number 2. I went to Sue's house. I went to Sue's house, which means it happened sometime in the past. So this is the person went to Sue's house. Last night, it happened last night. When I got into the living room, I could see that Sue, okay, so I went to Sue's house. When I got into the living room, this is I went to Sue's house and I got into the living room. I could see that, Sue was doing something. Sue had been doing something before I got into the living room. So it actually happened before I got to Sue's house. And she had been doing this for quite some time. Actually, she had been crying. So in this case, this is I got into Sue's house. This is what she had been doing. we use the past perfect continuous tense. So Sue had been crying for a while. So I went to Sue's house last night. This is last night. I went to Sue's house. I got into the living room and I could see that Sue had been crying for a while, for some time, before I got to the living room. Okay, so this is past perfect continuous tense, and you can compare the two. You can see that in this case, from sometime in the past, and the person still does it now, and it has been for 10 years. This is strictly in the past, no longer true. The person, Sue, is no longer crying now, but she had been crying when I got into the living room last night and I saw her crying. All right, so this is how we use the past perfect and the present, past perfect continuous tense and the present perfect continuous tense. Thank you for watching this video. For more information, please visit www.theportableclassroom.blogspot.tw. Thanks for your patience.